It's a great pleasure to join you at this Impact Investment Summit 2022 in Zambia. I've never been to Zambia and I look forward to visiting you in person, but I'm delighted to be able to say a few words on Zoom to frame the opportunity that exists for impact investment to improve Zambian lives and its environment. The world is going through a period of massive change. Impact transparency, which we are seeing now progressing, whether it's through the SEC or the EU or the setting up of the new and hugely important international sustainability standards board. Transparency on the impacts created by companies is going to transform our economic systems. It's already apparent that the publication of information around impacts, in particular environmental pollution, have affected the value of companies on stock exchanges. And so we're beginning to see a lot of companies pushing back on this transparency because they fear its consequences for their financial performance and their valuations. At the same time, we're seeing a lot of pushback from the general public and from investors on the greenwashing which they see companies perpetrating. This is basically companies claiming that they are doing a lot of good and measuring only some of the good they do and not giving a full picture about the harm that they create. And the big question in the world today is who is going to bring about the method for standardizing both the quantity metrics for environmental and social impacts, such as diversity, differences in advancement and pay, and of course, environmental ones, and how are we going to get to standardized valuation of these different impacts? Well, the ISSB, to which I have referred, is standardizing the quantity impact. And I'm very proud to say that a GSG initiative with the Impact Management Project and Harvard Business School has led to the publication of thousands of companies' impacts created through their operations on the environment, through their employment on people, and through their products and their supply chains on people and the environment. And the measurement of impact is transforming financial markets already. We see $1.5 trillion of sustainability-linked bonds and loans now in circulation, coming into the market over the past 18 months only. And these are corporate borrowings where the rate of interest that a company pays falls if certain social or environmental targets have been achieved. So we have these changes which are creating huge capital flows. And for me, the question that you need to address today, among all the other questions on your agenda, is how does Zambia attract some of these capital flows to deal with the consequences of mineral extraction, social and environmental, the availability of education and the attainment levels achieved at primary and secondary school level in the first place, and improving the supply of water and sanitation. And I'd like to pick one of these areas, which is the area of education, and just say that once again, the GSG has created a major initiative, the Education Outcomes Fund, which is just launching now a $20 million or so outcomes-based program in Sierra Leone to improve the education of 134,000 people. And shortly, we will be talking of the launch in Ghana of a $30 million program aimed at improving attainment levels in education in Ghana. And so if only one thing emerges from your deliberations today, I think it should be the resolve to improve education in Zambia through the use of the Education Outcomes Fund. The Education Outcomes Fund basically relies on countries, in this case the Zambian government, to provide 15% of the money which would be paid when students, pupils, succeed in achieving certain attainment levels. And opposite that promise to pay from the Education Outcomes Fund, which is funded not just by the Zambian government, but 85% of its money comes from outside Zambia, from aid organizations and philanthropists. The promise to pay from the Education Outcomes Fund enables NGOs and businesses to raise money from impact funds, which are now already established in Africa, like the Bridges UBS $100 million impact fund. And so there are massive changes occurring, new capital flows are emerging, innovation is coming to financial markets that targets not just risk and return, which has been the traditional equation to solve, but risk, return, and impact. And Zambia has a major opportunity now to attract some of this funding and some of this innovation to improve the lives of Zambians. Thank you very much for listening, and I wish you great success in your deliberations today.